watch and play series has been an exciting journey for me. In the last 2 years, I have had many interactions with all of you viewers. Some very intelligent, deep probing questions from you have been great motivation for me to do my own research before coming up and putting the facts in front of you. Thank you so much. For those of you who are following me regularly, you know that I insist a lot on talam. Many a times students get carried away by the gamakam. They just want to get into playing the popular songs. So talam is easily forgotten. They just need to hear the song being played on the Veena. That is all that is. No. Talam is a habit. Please understand that good habits have to be created at the very beginning. Which is why right from before you start your Sarali Varasai, you train your right hand for talam. Keep doing the right hand strike practice with the help of a metronome. And for those of you who are new to this channel, there is a separate video on how to set a metronome, what is a metronome and so on. Take the help of these gadgets, these apps to see that your talam gets really perfectly set. The fundamental of a talam needs to be set by the time you finish your Datavarasai and enter into Geetams, where of course you are going to be exposed to a little bit of Gamakam. So before you go into the Gamakam mode, see to it that you are able to play your lessons in 3 speeds with the help of a metronome or with the help of a Jalra app, which is very popular now. Now, today I am going to specifically take an Alankaram. Alankaram is the rock bed to see that you understand your talam very well. That the understanding of talam, that the practice of talam becomes very strong, happens at the Alankaram level. So please do not ignore the importance of those 7 Alankarams, the Sapta Tala Alankaras. I have put a lot of videos. I played all of these Alankaras, shown it on the screen with the metronome, played them all in 3 speeds. But what I am going to do today is to show you how pre-preparation is required before you go into any lesson. This is, I am taking an Alankaram as an example, but before any lesson, be it a Sarali Varasai, be it a Geetam, a Varnam or even a Kirtanai, there should be a pre-preparation. You have to sit with the lesson, go through the lesson, go through the notation, understand what the notation is trying to convey. See that you mark out the talams on the lesson before you actually sit playing the lesson. Now, how is this understanding going to happen if you don't even know how to read the notation? How to go about it is what I am going to tell you today with the help of a slightly simpler Alankaram, Tisra Jati Triputa Talam. So as part of the pre-preparation, I want you all to have 3 sets of the same lesson. The Tisra Jati Triputa Talam, I want it in 3 sets. If you have a writing habit, write it 3 times. Printing, take 3 printouts. Or if you don't have any of these facilities, keep the lesson in front of you and do the markings as I am talking about it. Keep understanding what the lesson is trying to convey to you as I am talking. So now when you say Tisra Jati Triputa Talam, the first thing you will notice in the lesson are some symbols. You see a straight line, a standing line followed by 2 circles. Now the standing line talks about the lagu or the finger counting. If you still don't understand what I am talking about, the standing line and the circles, I have put a very elaborate video in my watch and play series on Sapta Tala Alankaras, where I have explained all of these in detail. Do kindly go and check it out. Now for those of you who know what a lagu and a dhritam is, so a lagu is a pat and a counting of fingers. That is your lagu. And the circles denote dhritam, which are constant factors, the pat and a turn, 2 in numbers. Lagu can be variants, Tisra, Chatushra, Kanda, Mishra and Sankirna. Now in this Alankaram it is Tisra Jati. So the lagu is going to have 3 counts. The standing line will have 3 counts. The circles, each one of the 2 circles will have 2 counts each. And you will see 3 plus 2 plus 2 is total of 7 aksharas. 7 aksharas or 7 counts is what a Tisra Jati Triputa Talam has, which means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. So this is going to be a Tisra Jati Triputa Talam's feature. 7 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 beats. Now let's go into the lesson. Have a look at the lesson. The very first line starts with a sa. Sa, ri, ga, ma. Sa, ri, ga followed by a line which shows that the lagu is getting over there. Then sa, ri, 2 notes, which is one dhritam or that circle that we were talking about. Ga, ma is the next dhritam or the circle. Again, symbol wise it is the circle. Sa, ri, ga, ma. Now we are doing all of this in Maya Madagole. For those of you who can sing, you can sing it out and see. Sa, re, ga, ma. If you had noticed, now I had sung one note per beat. Just sa for one beat, re for one beat, ga for the next beat, sa, re, ga, ma. Single notes, which is what the first speed is all about. So you see there are 7 notes equal to the 7 aksharas or the 7 beats of the talam. The same thing you do with the re, which is the re, ga, ma, pa, which is the next line. It takes the next note. So after sa it is re, so the second line is all re. After re it is ga, third line is all filled with ga phrases and so on. You have a total of 10 lines. Count the number of lines, you will see there are 10 lines. 5 going up in the Arohanam and 5 coming down in the Avarohanam. So there are, the entire lesson therefore has 7 notes per line, 10 lines, 70 notes is all that you have in the entire Alankaram. Now why do you need to know all this mathematics? Because talam involves simple maths. The first speed requires 7 notes, one note per beat. Since the talam has got 7 beats, you need 7 notes for the first speed, which is what you have in every line. So when you play the first speed, you're going to go line by line. One line will be one full talam. Sa, ri, ga, ma. Full talam is completed. So now you mark out. I told you to take 3 printouts. So in one printout, we are going to mark out all the first speed, the places where you have to put the talam. So the first line will have the first talam of the lagu in the very beginning. Sa, ri, ga. You have 3 notes. That's underline that sa. And then the first dhritam, sa, ri. Underline the sa there also. Ga, ma. Underline the ga there. Which means you're going to say sa, you put a talam on the first sa, ri, ga, done. Then again you go back, sa, you put a talam, re, and then ga, ma. So this is going to be the first line, first speed. Now the same positions you mark out in the other 9 lines as well. Whatever you marked on the first line, the same positions in the coming lines of the re line, the ga line, everywhere you mark out the same positions. So having done that for all the 10 lines, one part, that is the first speed, has been taken care of. Now you go to the second speed. Take another set of the lesson. Or for those of you who are doing it in the book, now you bracket 2 lines at a time. There are 10 lines, so 2 lines at a time you bracket. This is for the second speed, because the second speed involves 2 notes per beat. So if you want to do 2 notes per beat for the 7 beats of Triputa Talam, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 2 notes per beat will mean 2 7s are 14 notes you need. You need 14 notes to play a full talam cycle of this Alankaram, which means you need 2 lines. Sa, ri, ga, ma, 7 notes. Ri, ga, ma, pa. Together they give you 14 notes. So bracket these 2 lines for the second speed. Same way you bracket the ga ma pa da ma pa da ni. These two lines need to be bracketed. Then pa da ni sa ni da pa. Bracket those two lines. Ni da pa ma da pa ma ga. Bracket those two lines. Pa ma ga ri ma ga ri sa. Bracket those two lines. After you have bracketed these two lines, and maybe near the bracket you can put second speed, or at the top itself you can write this is for the second speed. Now where are the talam, which are the points where the talam is going to come? Sa re ga ma. See, you at the very starting of the sa you underline the sa, and the last note ma, the same line sa re ga ma. The underline under that ma. The first dhritam will come under that ma. Again, sa re ga ma pa. The next talam will come in the re line, where you have the re ga ma pa. The first dhritam where you have a re ga. That re, underline that under that re. Re ga ma pa, that re. Not the first re, the second re. Underline under that. So the three talams for one full tala cycle you have already got. Copy the same thing for the next batch of 2 lines. Underline those notes under ga ma pa da ga will get, and the last da will get. Ma pa da ni, that ma pa da ni, the second ma will get. Similar to what you have done in the first 2 lines. Copy those. Underline all the rest of the lines as well. So this is your second speed. Now take the third copy of what you have written. For the third speed, it's going to be 4 notes per beat. Every beat you have to play 4 notes. So 4 lines. Why 4 lines? Because per beat, the Tripada Talam has got 7 beats, right? And for 4 if you play 4 notes per beat, 4 sevens are 28 notes you need to complete one Talas cycle. So 28 notes you will get in 4 lines. So sa re ga ma pa ga ma pa da ni. Bracket these 4 lines and say third speed. Same way the next 4 lines. Pa da ni sa ni da pa ma ga. Mark these 4 lines. Now you are left with only 2 lines. How do you do it? Because you will, the lesson will end in half the talam. You can't let it, the entire tala cycle has to finish, right? So what you do is, only for the third speed, you repeat the entire lesson once again. So how does it go? You are left with 2 lines. Pa ma ga ri ma ga ri sa ri ga ma pa. Now these will become 4 lines for the next tala cycle. So you see, the last 2 lines of the lesson and the first 2 lines of the lesson now combine together to form one tala cycle. The next one will be ga ma pa da ma pa da ni sa ni da pa. This will form the next 4 lines. The last 4 lines remaining, ni da pa ma ga ri sa. Those 4 lines will form the next tala cycle, and it ends the tala cycle properly. So just for the third speed alone, you will have to play this lesson twice without stopping. Just the dynamics will change a little bit without stopping. So this understanding has to happen. There are 10 lines. You need 4 lines per tala cycle. So it's a mismatch, right? You need to complete the tala cycle, which is why you're going 2 rounds. Having done this, now we'll see where all the talam will come in the third speed. Sa re ga ma pa. Now the starting sa will get 1 line underneath. Re ga ma sa re ga ma pa. In the second line, re ga ma pa. Under the ma you will have a talam. ma pa ga ma pa ga ma pa da ma pa da ma pa da ni ga ma pa da. The last note of the ga ma pa da will get a talam. Ma pa da ni doesn't have any talam at all. Once again, I'll put the third speed. Sa re ga ma re ga ma pa ga ma pa da ma pa da ni. So you've seen under sa you have in the first line, in the re ga ma pa, the ma under the ma, ga ma pa da under the last note, the ma pa da ni doesn't have any talam. The same thing you have to underline for the rest of the four lines. When you come to the last two lines, you have the pa ma ga ri. Under pa you have one line. Ma ga ri sa. Under the ri you have one line. Now I told you have to go to the first two lines. Now the first two lines, the first line becomes the third line actually for this cycle. Sa re ga ma. The last note will get a talam. Re ga ma pa, no talam at all. So this is for the second round, when you go for the second round. Then ga ma pa da will be the first line. So underline under ga. Ma pa da ni under da. Pa da ni sa under sa. Sa ni da pa will not have any talam. Ni da pa ma will form the first line. So under ni. Da pa ma ga under ma. Pa ma ga ri, the last ri. Ma ga ri sa will be the final line and it's over. If you have gotten confused with the last bit that I talked about, the third speed, please understand I am talking about the two cycles that you have to play. First four lines, whatever you have marked, kindly mark for the rest of the four lines that you have to play. This is the pre-preparation that I am talking of, because right now in front of you there is clarity of the talam. You're clear about where all the talam will come for the first speed, where for the second speed and where for the third speed. Now what you have to do is, when you take the Veena without any talam, first get the lesson in your hand. See that the lesson comes into your mind as well as into your hand. Once it is there in your hand, start practicing the talam, putting the talam for each one of these speeds, and then the final thing that you'll have to do is to bring in the metronome and see that your talam matches. You play matching the beats of the metronome. This is where you finally learned your lessons. So look at can you see this process, how this process works? So the pre-preparation itself, if you notice, is 50% of your learning. My dear students, this is not just for this Alankaram that I have given this preparation idea. This is for all the lessons you are doing. Don't jump into a lesson the minute you see it. Study it, observe it, understand it, and only then go and start playing it. I hope this video will bring about an understanding how talam, especially talam, works, and I'm very keen to know how many of you, after watching the Watch and Play series, have taken talam seriously. If you have, please write in the comment section. This is a great motivation for me to guide you students in the right direction as far as the foundations and concepts of Carnatic music is concerned. Thank you all for your support.